Okay, so I've been watching this show. These people in Australia, their mother was very secretive, and so they wanted to find out more about what was going on. She was estranged from her family, which were in Paris, and she moved to Australia. Well, what they found out, and I pulled the cards, and so I'm going to put up the this very interesting documentary where they're going through this woman's life. And I pulled the cards on it, and it's always interesting to do that to see what you get. So her name was Micheline. She was French. Now, during the wartime, she fell in love with this German officer. Some other part of her family was in the French resistance. And when the war was over, you know what they wanted to do to these French women that were collaborators with the Germans, okay? Which was not good. They wanted to shave their head and do all these other things. So Micheline took off. And she got married. She wound up getting married 3 times. Her son, she had a son who never knew anything. She just said your father was an English officer. So he didn't know anything more than that. Okay? But it followed her through Italy, and she went to this place and was volunteering to go do this work where many others were conscripted to do it, conscription to do this work, but she had volunteered. Well, anyway, it follows her through. She wound up marrying a Russian guy, took that name, and they never really divorced, and she never really divorced from her first husband, and she wound up being married 3 times, never had the divorce. But anyway, she had married this guy, Russian guy, and took that name and was able to leave and go to Australia, and she met another man, had gotten married, and had the daughter. So the daughter and the son are trying to figure out her whole, the hagiography, all the information about their mother, okay? So what I got with the reading, the overview of the reading is about this mental, pulling back. She wanted to totally leave that life behind, okay? So retreating from that mentality of all the things, falling in love with the German, totally leaving her family because she was a German collaborator. And you'll hear all of this in the documentary, but that's the main part of the reason why she left, why she retreated mentally. And so what the rest of this said was the energy coming into it was about her desires when it came to her family. The desires when it came to her family, and these restrictions, mental restrictions that she had when it came to sharing the information, because her children just had no idea what their mother was about, what she had gone through. And I mean, through this documentary, they're just floored that she was a German collaborator and all this, and the rest of the family was resistance and all the stuff that happened. So what the reading, again, was about was this juggling, this information that was rapidly coming through this the rapid information about what happened and what was offered up and the losses that were being faced, okay? They felt lost because they didn't know what the heck was going on with the mother, and she had, again, sharing. She didn't share what was going on. She was always very secretive. So the energy going forward was about this blocked information that she'd had for a victory, so she could have a victory. And in what she was building, what she had constructed, and this harsh truth. The harsh truth that came out. So they got a victory when it came to what was blocked. They found out the information about it, the construction of what this woman did with her life, and the truth was very harsh coming down. Is a very harsh truth. So again, that what was being shared about the losses, the loss that they had felt because they had no idea. The mother was so secretive. And then the harsh reality of information that had come out, the truth of it all. These mental restrictions from sharing of what was constructed, what she constructed in her life, how she met these men and how she was on the run and how she reinvented her life. Because again, in the center of it, we had juggling and rapidly this information that they were on this to find out when it came to the desires in the family, what was blocked, information that was blocked she was never speaking about, and their final victory of action in finding out exactly what happened with this woman. And so it's very interesting, you see them going through it. Also, what they found out was their grandparents, they were had an inheritance coming. Now I'm just coming up to that point in the video. I haven't seen, they said they have a 6-figure inheritance coming. And so they found out all this information about the mother, and the son was happy to find out that in the midst of this running, she had him and she kept him. She could have dropped him off at an orphanage or anything, but she did on the run, kept him, and had him baptized, etc. And so he was happy, but the daughter, his half-sister, was not happy with what she found out and what she did. So they had two totally different viewpoints with the information that they had found out. So I'm leaving this up there, and if you want to listen to this documentary, and like I said, it's interesting when you're pulling cards, when you're listening to a story, and you're pulling the cards, and you just see what the cards say in tallying with the story, the information that you get out. So I thought the information with this was very apropos. The desires that she had when it came to the family, hiding this information, not putting it out there, and then the life that she constructed, and she didn't want to talk about it. Maybe later she felt remorse that she was in love with this German guy and was a collaborator, and so she didn't want to talk about that part of her life and on the run and all the stuff that happened. Okay, but the truth finally came out. And so I thought it was quite interesting, and I thought it was quite interesting the way the cards came out that explained this situation, what was going on, the energy going forward. We had that hidden information, this blocked information, but the victory that finally came out that how she constructed this life and what she did, and again, the reading was about her wanting to distance from that, mentally retreat from that time, and totally reinvented herself and would never speak about the past to her children. So on that note, I'll leave that here. We'll see you online.